critical about it at all, does it now mean that social distancing is effectively optional, especially for those who are favoured? Before I get back to that and your calls, of which I've got plenty, on the 15th of April, I tweeted, "It seems to me there is no downside to wearing a face mask, and anything that could help ease the lockdown should be encouraged. Governments across the world are changing their view, and I predict our own administration will end up making a U-turn on this before long." Well, I was half right. They have made a U-turn, but it took them 2 months to do it. It'll be the 15th of June when this comes in on public transport. And I think that one of the narratives is this government seems to do too little, too late in terms of the way it deals with this crisis. Back to social distancing. Peter says the equation's simple. The greater the distance, the lower the risk. The lower the distance, the greater the risk. Why don't some understand this? You're right, Peter. But one of the next debates that we'll have between now and the 15th of June and going on is whether this 2 metre, or 6 feet, or whichever you prefer, whether that actually is necessary, because many other parts of the world, it's 1.5 metres. Some parts of the world, it's 1 metre. Some parts of the world, it's 2.5 metres. The argument that's given is that if you reduce this down from 2 to 1.5 or 1, whilst there is a slight increase of risk infection, it would actually allow, 1 metre, not 2 metres, would actually allow restaurants and pubs to get back into business. And these are, the balances that have to be made all the time. But, there's a little bit of a campaign now that's been struck up. Indeed, former Chancellor Lord Lamont is very much at the forefront of this. And he's arguing unless you bring it down to 1 metre, then the sort of 3 million people in the hospitality industry that are currently on furlough, that a huge number of those might find themselves actually permanently unemployed. So it is a debate that we'll have as time goes on. But for the moment, it seems to be one rule for many and another rule for the favoured. Let's go to Brighton.